What is good, YouTube, and welcome back to a brand new video. We're back here on NBA 2K25 here for another rebuild, and today we're talking about an interesting, I guess you could say, contender in the Eastern Conference, that being the Philadelphia 76ers, but obviously this season has not gone well at all so far. Injuries, of course, have not helped, and now you have a suspension for Joel Embiid, but today I wanted to jump in and do a realistic Philadelphia 76ers rebuild in NBA 2K25. Before we get into today's video, make sure you guys drop a like on this one and subscribe if you're new to this channel. As always, greatly appreciated. So I do want to say something up top. To be honest with you, I feel like the last, I don't know, maybe few or so videos, I haven't been like super proud of the rebuilds I've been doing. I don't know why. I just haven't felt great about them, but I've just been uploading them anyway. And, I don't know how to explain it, but there's been a lot of stress going on right now as well. Lots going on in my life, not to make excuses, but I want to get back to my roots. So, which is why we're calling this a realistic rebuild. I want to make sure that I'm back to how I usually do things. I feel like the last few videos have been going kind of crazy, and maybe some of you guys enjoy that, but to me, preferably when I do rebuilds, I like to try to be as realistic as possible, and I know most of you guys enjoy that as well. The last few videos feel like they haven't really been like that. So today we're going to jump shift back to how it used to be. And that's where we're at. So start today does not work, but we do have the Philadelphia 76ers off to a 1-6 start. And it sounds like Joel Embiid is set to make his debut against the Knicks, I think, if I just saw that correctly. But so we'll have him out of the lineup for now. But of course, he'll debut against the Knicks, and this is when I'll put him back in. And Paul George has been back limited, but ultimately, obviously, it hasn't mattered just yet. But we're going to go ahead and simulate the rest of season number 1. We're going to see if this team can turn the season around. The window is slowly closing on this Embiid thing. I mean, if this doesn't work, I don't know what the 76ers do. But, I mean, they do have a lot of guys in there. Paul George under contract for a while, Max under contract for a while. So it's not like they give up on everything. But still, let's simulate the rest of season 1, and let's see how this team finishes out. Today's video is brought to you by two softwares designed to help you beat the sports books and become a much profitable sports bettor. We're starting on daily grind, we're starting on OddsJams today. So OddsJams Positive EV tool is what we have up right now. So if you play on apps such as BetMGM, ESPN Bet, FanDuel, there's a lot of value on the board at the moment. So you got Dallas Cowboys over 17.5 team total, which is interesting because of course Dak just got put on an IR. But plus 115 odds, as you can see, FanDuel at plus 104. So there's clear value at getting this at plus 115. Especially compared to minus 105 or at Caesars. You also got Broncos over 7.5 first team total against the Chiefs. Same thing here. You're getting clear value at plus 135. And then for most of you guys who play on apps such as Prize Picks, Underdog, or any of these popular DFS apps, Daily Grind Fantasy is a great tool to have. Now, there's not a ton of basketball games on tomorrow, but we do have some football plays on the board. We got Caleb Williams over 4.5 rush attempts, and then Mario Douglas over 3.5 receptions. So two fantastic plays on the board at the moment. We found that in 2 seconds using Daily Grind Fantasy. So if you want to check out either of these tools, links down in the description below. Use code Crushables for a percentage off your first month. Other than that, let's get back to rebuilding the Philadelphia 76ers. So at the end of season number 1, Luka Doncic wins MVP. Zachary Richey, Rookie of the Year in Atlanta, who just had a great game last night, by the way. Ahmed Thompson, the 6th-man Wembanyama Offensive Player, and Ahmed Thompson, Most Improved. And Giannis, Clutch Player, and Jason Kidd is your Coach of the Year. So for Philadelphia here, as far as All-NBA teams, you do get Embiid making it, All-NBA second team, and then no Paul George or Maxey, unfortunately. But All-Defensive first team, Embiid's there as well, and All-Defensive second team. But we finish up as the 7th seed in the East. Now, obviously, Philadelphia, that's not really the expectations you had going into the season. So that's not the greatest thing to see, if I'm being honest with you. But yeah, 27 from Embiid, 25 from Maxey, 23 from Paul George, 10.5 from Oubre, 8 from Drummond, 8 from Eric Gordon, and 8 from Caleb Martin, and then 5 from Yabusele. So, without further ado, we get the first round of the play-in against the Miami Heat. So let's go ahead and see if we can knock off Jimmy Butler and the Heat to get into the playoffs. Now, I will say, I think winning this one is very important, because if we don't, we get to play Boston in round 1 if we win the next play-in. But it looks like we are, or next play-in game, but we are going to beat Miami pretty easily here. So we're going to go ahead and be playing the Indiana Pacers, which I like our chances against Indiana just a tad bit more than Boston. Now, I will say, sometimes it seems like the Pacers are better than the Celtics in 2K, but in real life, I think the 76ers would obviously sign up to play the Pacers rather than Boston. But let's see how we do in these playoffs going up against the Indiana Pacers. So let's go ahead and click that old somebody current round against Indiana, and we are going to be down 3-0. Not gonna lie to you guys, this is not great. If you're Philadelphia, you finally get back, or I guess I don't even know where I was going with that. I was gonna say you finally make it back to playoffs, but Philadelphia makes playoffs every year. It's just you get back, you get out of the play-in, you get to play a team that you think you could potentially beat in Indiana. You played the Knicks last year, and now you find yourselves down 3-0. It's not a good look. But with that being said, I guess there is a chance, because 2K can be weird sometimes, that we make Indiana blow a 3-0 lead. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I don't think it's on the realm of possibility. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen for us. So like I said, man, maybe I would have rather have played Boston. I don't know. But we lose to Indiana in round 1 and 5, which is not great. But like I said, considering Paul George, Maxey, and Embiid are under contract for a couple more seasons after this, I will run it back with this big three. But if we disappoint next year after making maybe a few more upgrades, now we'll be very limited on what we can do, obviously. But if we get to next year and we're disappointing again, then you really have to start looking yourselves in the mirror, and maybe it's time to blow things up, which I don't really want to do necessarily, but I'm going to base it off how we do. So let's just go ahead and see. So our pick is going to the Oklahoma City Thunder. You do have Nick Nurse as the head coach. Now, I wouldn't be shocked if the 76ers, based off if they lost in round 1 again, if they fired Nick Nurse. I don't think it would totally surprise me, but I'm not going to go that route today. But let's just go ahead and see what kind of offseason we can have with what we have going on currently. So we do have Oubre accepting a team option, which we'll accept, and then Drummond declines his player option, so that's noted. Justin Edwards is a free agent, and then you got Yabusele, Jeff Doughton. So I'm going to go ahead and send the qualifying offers in those two. And now for free agency. So bird rights, we have Drummond's bird rights, which probably going to have to bring him back. And then we have a little bit of money to spend, but not too much. So yeah, I think Drummond is probably a must re-sign to, keep our backup center in town. And then after that, so you have Maxey, you have no shooting guard right now, but Jared McCain maybe could become something, but I'm not sure. Oubre and Paul George, we could always move Oubre to shooting guard if needed. We have Caleb Martin, who I think was a solid signing, and then Kenyon Martin, which is fine. And then you'll get Drummond back. So, I mean, to me, there's no LeVert, I think, is probably the best free agent you can get potentially. So I am going to go after Caris LeVert because that would probably be the best way we can spend our money this offseason. So assuming we get Drummond and LeVert, that might be literally the only things we can do. So yeah, that's probably going to be about it on what we can do this offseason. So LeVert is still a great signing, don't get me wrong. I think that's a great addition regardless. But, I'm not sure that's enough to move the needle, but it should help a little bit. So with that, I think we could just basically re-sign Yabusele, assuming he'll come back on his qualifying offer. And then Edwards, and that will be your offseason. So that's our first offseason. Unless we decide to make a trade, which, I guess we can look into in theory. But, George down to an 85 overall already does suck really badly. So not great, but we'll take it on the chin. You got McCain up to a 75 overall already, which is great. Love to see that. He'll probably play some backup point guard for us this year, and we will probably start LeVert that shooting guard spot, if I had to guess. And then you have, the rest of our young players developing down here as well. So, again, I don't think there's any moves to be made. We can move Ricky Council to shooting guard, or Kenyon Martin to small forward. We could do a bunch of things. So I'm going to fix the rotation up how I see fit. I'll see you guys with the rotation of year number 2, even though, obviously, it's not going to change too much. So here is your rotation going into season number 2, and this feels like championship or bust in my opinion. So we have Tyrese Maxey, Kelly Oubre, Paul George, Caleb Martin, and Joel Embiid. So Oubre is going to start the shooting guard this year. We have Drummond off the bench still. We signed LeVert, of course. We have Kenyon Martin at the 3, and Jared McCain's going to be joining the rotation as well. So to me, that looks fantastic. We'll run with this. Again, this season to me is championship or bust. So if we don't go far in the playoffs, and we get bounced around 1, I think it's time to give up on the Joel Embiid experiment and just admit it's not going to work. So that's where I'm at with this team. We're going to see how it ends up. If we do lose, Embiid and Paul George could probably pack their bags because they're going to be moved out of here. Obviously, we'll keep Maxey around because he's still young. Other than that, let's just see how year number 2 results. And based off how it goes is going to determine how the rest of this video ends up. So at the end of year number 2, I think it's safe to say, according to 2K, we are absolutely cooked. I don't think this is going to go very far because we finish up as the 10th seed in the East, which is obviously nowhere near where we want to be. So back-to-back years of being very disappointing. This year, it was obviously even worse. But here are your player stats in the season. So in theory, this team looks good to me, but it's just not clicking for whatever reason. So 27 for Maxey, 24 from Embiid, and 17 for Paul George. Now, of course, I don't expect the 76ers to be this bad in real life. This is just 2K bugging out, and we all are aware of that. But like I said, I'm going off the results that 2K is giving me, and right now we suck. So we got Toronto in round 1 of the play-in. So there is a chance that we get in and maybe make some noise in the playoffs, but we'll see how that ends up. We got to win our first play-in game against Toronto on the road, and they start off smacking us in the first quarter. Yeah, and then unless we get back in the game, it looks like we're going home. And we got back in it for a second, but nope, we're leaving. We're losing. So it's time to trade Embiid. It's time to trade Paul George. We're gonna have to reset this thing because that's back-to-back years of losing very early. And I mean, you really can't justify, holding on to this thing much longer, in my opinion. So with that being said, we're trading Embiid this offseason, and I am going to make sure it is an actual decent trade. I'm not going to use the trade finder. I'm going to use override and make a realistic trade happen. And if you hate that, I'm sorry, but I hate using the trade finder to try to determine, and making superstar realistic trades is impossible in 2K without using override, in my opinion, because as we all know, to get a superstar in real life, you have to trade a bunch of stuff. In 2K, when you try to trade with the computer, obviously that's not how it works. So in 2K, so let's get this off season. We do have our lottery picks. That's good. So that's going to be very important, the 10th overall pick. But of course, I would love to find a way to get an even higher pick in this draft too. But let's go ahead, and we are going to trade Embiid this offseason. We're also going to fire Nick Nurse. I think that makes sense too, although I do like him, of course. What head coach do we want to replace him? Let's get like Taylor Jenkins in the building as a rebuilding coach with Maxey. I don't know if this will be like a full-on rebuild because we still have Maxey who's damn good. But we're going to go try to figure out an Embiid trade, something I haven't thought about yet. So we'll see what I like and who would want to trade for him. So I have my trade that we're going to do with Joel Embiid. We're going to send him to the New Orleans Pelicans, and here's the trade that we're doing. So Embiid is going to go to New Orleans for Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, Rocky, a 4th overall pick in this upcoming draft, and a 2030 unprotected. Honestly, I almost feel like we don't even need the 2030 unprotected. I mean, Embiid is still a damn good player, and to me, Zion would fit very nicely next to Embiid. I think they'd be a great fit next to each other. I think they would be very fun to watch together, which is why I like this trade. And New Orleans goes all in on Zion and Joel Embiid with DeJounte Murray, Brandon Ingram they still have. So I think this makes sense. I feel like the compensation is fair. I mean, maybe you could argue, maybe take a little bit away, maybe even more. I mean, you could go on either side of the coin, but we can all, I think agree that the fact that Embiid would go for a lot if moved. Now, the trade, the injury stuff may have, obviously a factor in it as well. But Joel Embiid is gone. We get Trey Murphy and Herb Jones in the 4th overall pick in this draft. I really like that. And we also have 14 from the Clippers, which is nice. We have 3 first-round picks to change this thing around, which is great. And next is going to be Paul George, who I don't think would be worth as much. Clearly has fallen off, but still a damn good player. So let's go see who would want Paul George's services as well. The next trade we're doing is we're going to send Paul George over to the Grizzlies for G.G. Jackson, Brandon Clark, and just 1 future unprotected first-round pick. So the Grizzlies go all in with John Morant, George Embiid, or not Embiid, sorry, Jaren Jackson, and then, of course, Zach Edey still over there as well, and Desmond Bane and John Morant. So I think that makes for an interesting team over in Memphis. So that is going to be the final trade override superstar trade we do, because obviously we're going to keep Maxey around. So that gives us a little bit of a haul to retool this roster. It makes us a lot cheaper as well. We did, Trey Murphy's making a bunch of money, which, I like Trey Murphy, but he doesn't progress in 2K at all, which is quite annoying. I really hate that about him because I do think he could become a damn good player, especially if Ingram is eventually moved from New Orleans. But New Orleans just has so many damn injury problems as well. But we have so many picks in this draft, so let's just go ahead and get straight into this thing. As we know, this is the AJ draft class, I believe, so we should be able to get a damn good player. AJ goes 1 to Oklahoma City, which is going to be scary going forward. Boozer goes, of course, and then Darren Peterson goes. So I was kind of hoping for one of those 3. We don't get any of them, but we do have, some other options. So we got Darius here, Hall of Fame. I think we got to take him. We got an All-NBA, Caleb Wilson. So we could go carry, Darius or Caleb Wilson. I feel like we do need a power forward more than anything. So I am going to take Caleb Wilson here out of Kentucky with this pick, and then we'll see what our next pick ends up being, especially if Darius falls this far, which he does not. So we could take Koa, we could take Bryson, we could take Mikal Brown. A lot of different options here, but I do think I kind of like the idea of taking, who do I want? Do I want anybody that I'm not thinking of? Just trying to take a look at all the options. So Will Riley is interesting. I have never drafted him before, and I've never really heard of him either. He's from Illinois. I mean, I could draft Koa, but I do kind of like the idea of taking Will Riley to change things. I really don't know how good this guy is, but it says he has a Hall of Fame ceiling, so I guess we'll see how that turns out. Maybe I made a mistake there, but I'm willing to take a swing. And then Bryson could be our last pick, or we could take Mikael Brown or Jasper Johnson. So I guess I'll go ahead and take Mikael Brown here. So that'll be our draft. So we draft 3 good players. And again, we don't have to keep all of them. So Will Riley ended up being a 74 overall because we still do have Maxi. So we still have the potential of going all in still with him. But I'm feeling good about, retooling this a little bit. We have too many players on our roster right now, so we got to cut somebody, it looks like. Or at least, I mean, who do I got to release? Does that change it for us? Okay, it does. All right. So we got Jim McCain, Ricky Council will accept those. And then qualifying offers, Justin Edwards is free agent. So is Yabusele. I think I'm okay with moving on from both of them. Justin Edwards, I guess we can send the offer on, of course, because he's only 22. But Yabusele probably will move on from him. Probably move on from Oubre as well. And I don't know if we have cap space to do anything. We don't. Okay, so let's just take a look at the roster currently. So Maxi, Jared McCain, and then Mikael Brown, who we just drafted. So that's nice. We have Herb Jones now, of course, the 2-guard spot next to Maxi. We got Will Riley, who we just drafted. And we got Gigi Jackson, Trey Murphy, Ricky Council, Caleb Wilson. And we have Drummond, Brandon Clark, and Rocky. So this team is going to be interesting, but obviously it is not going to be contender next year. We're not going to be a contender whatsoever. I don't think I'm going to do anything else in free agency. I think I'm just going to go into this season with what we got currently. So let's just go to play progression and just see how this goes. See how good Maxi can be. Basically, this is his team now. Yabusele and Edwards are both back. So Maxi's already going down, which isn't great to see, but McCain's going up. That's cool. Rocky is already up to 79, which is great. Gigi Jackson, 81. Herb Jones, 83. So all that is fantastic. And there's always room to make a massive move in the future. There really is. Like, there's no amount of ceiling that we can't do, in my opinion, with, how many players we have and how many different, I don't know how many draft picks we have, of course, but we just got some, of course, from those trades we just did. But I really like the future of this team for sure. So we got to cut 2 players. Then we can get in this rotation next season. So here's the rotation for season number 2. Of course, Tyrese Maxey will be starting that point guard spot with Herb Jones starting next to him. Gigi Jackson to the 3. Caleb Wilson, we drafted at number 4 overall. At the power forward spot, Rocky, we got also the New Orleans trade, Jeremy McCain, Brandon Clark, Trey Murphy, Andre Drummond, and Caleb Martin is the rest of the rotation. Honestly, Caleb Martin doesn't need to play, but I guess he will just because... I mean, what is his contract situation right now? $8 million. So there's a potential we sell at the deadline to free up minutes for some of these younger players down here, obviously. Like, we could sell off Caleb Martin and LeVert at the deadline. Maybe even Drummond, Brandon Clark. A lot of different things we could do. But I'm going to be curious to see how this season goes with what we have now. So, obviously, shot intensity for Maxi can be high. Gigi Jackson's is an 83, which is fine. Rocky's is a 73. What is Caleb? So, Caleb Wilson's is a 70 out of this draft, which is fine. So... I'm cool with all this. Let's just simply see how this season goes, and it'll be interesting to see how good or bad we are and what kind of move we can make, maybe make at the deadline to further better our future. Or if we're good, maybe we make a buyer type move. I don't know. I guess we'll see. So we are, in fact, stopped at the trade deadline, and this is the exact type of trade I want to make. We're going to gain another asset here. We're going to be trading Caleb Martin and LeVert, both for a first-round pick. 2 really good role players at the Suns. I could definitely see wanting. They trade Royce O'Neal's salary to match it. He'll be an expiring salary in the offseason, which would help us maybe make a trade to get someone to pair next to Maxi. So to me, this is a dream trade scenario. So we're going to make this happen. Caleb Martin and LeVert are headed to Phoenix. We get their 2028 unprotected. And Royce O'Neal, welcome to Philadelphia. Welcome back, I think. Didn't he play in Philly at one point, if I'm not mistaken? He's obviously not going to play in the rotation at all either. Or I might be bugging. I feel like he did for a second. Or was it close? No, he never did. I don't know why I thought he did for some reason. Maybe he was traded for like a Philly first or something, if I remember. Something weird like that. But Maxi, Herb Jones, Gigi Jackson, Caleb Wilson, Rocky McCain, Trey Murphy, Brandon Clark, Drummond. So that gets Adem Bona in the rotation. Honestly, I think we could take out... Oh, I forgot we could trade Drummond as well. Now, I don't think Drummond's worth like 2 firsts or anything. But I do think we could get like a couple seconds maybe for him. I guess it just kind of depends. But we might just kick him out of the rotation entirely. So Caruso, I think, is a little too valuable. Zeke Naji in a second from Denver. I mean, does he have a player option? He does. So, you know what? I'm down for this. We're going to trade Zeke Naji. Drummond for Zeke Naji. We get a second out of it. And Zeke Naji will not play for us. I don't think he will anyway, so he won't be in the rotation. And we'll take Adim. Actually, we'll take Clark in the rotation and give Will Riley minutes. So just going to give these young players the minutes for the rest of the season. And then we have the contracts, the assets to make a move to get a star next to Maxi in the offseason. That's the game plan. So we'll simulate the rest of the season, and we'll see how we finish out. So at the end of the season, we did bottom out a little bit. We weren't very good. We finished up as the 14th seed, which was kind of to be expected. Obviously, this was a rebuild, retool type of year. But here is your all-rookie first team. So we do get Caleb Wilson making it all-rookie first team. And then it looks like our 2 rookies who kind of barely played down the stretch made it in as well, which is cool to see. So I love that. And here were your player stats to end the season. So Maxi with 23, 17.5 from GG Jackson, 15.5 from McCain, and 11 from Rocky. That's 10 and 7, which is nice. 10 from Caleb Wilson and 10 from Will Riley. So let's go ahead and simulate these playoffs and let's see who goes on to win it all. And this offseason is going to be a very fun one if I had to guess, because we can make a lot of things happen, and I'm excited. So let's get in the lottery. I don't even know if we ever picked this offseason. We may not, and it looks like our pick is headed somewhere else, unless I'm just bugging right now. And it looks like, where is our pick anyway? So Philadelphia, Brooklyn Nets have it. So the Brooklyn Nets have our draft pick, and it ends up being number 1. How tragic. So I don't remember exactly what trade that is from, but that does make, maybe it's from the Harden trade, obviously. Okay, well, I mean, what can you do about it? Nothing, which is fine. We kind of knew that would be kind of the case, but the other thing would have been keeping Embiid and still trying to win, and I don't think we would have been in a better spot. So that all being said, we have no picks in this draft, but we do have future assets, and we do have some contracts that we can throw in some trades. So we're going to go scan the market, and we're going to go see if there's a player that we can go pair with Tyrese Maxey. Not going to lie to you, looking at all of these different players we could go for, there was legit only one player that made sense to go after, in my opinion, because they're selling right now, and that is the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are actually 9-0 in real life right now. But Evan Mobley's the target. I think we go after Evan Mobley. I think Evan Mobley obviously brings a whole new dynamic to this roster. Nice little star paired next to Maxey. And I don't know if it would cost us much right now. So we're going to go see if we can make something happen for Evan Mobley. He's on the same timeline as Tyrese Maxey. He locked it for 3 more years. 21 and 10 last year. So yeah, definitely somebody who I think could help us out a ton. Will be kind of our new version of, obviously not nowhere near Joel Embiid, but he'll be a new big rather than Embiid. So we'll see if we can make something happen. So I will start this trade with Trey Murphy because he is making a ton of money for someone who just, unfortunately, is, like I said, as much as I love Trey Murphy, he doesn't develop into anything special in 2K. I really hope they fix that eventually. I don't know if they will, but I'm going to try not to trade too much. So do I want to trade Mikal Brown or do I want to trade Will Riley is the question. I mean, we could trade pretty much either, in my opinion. I think considering we do have, I'm going to send Mikal Brown in this trade. I mean, Will Riley might be more valuable. I don't know. So let's see. So Will Riley has 3-star trade value. So I guess we'll leave him out of it for now. And then we could throw, Royce O'Neal in here. And then obviously a couple picks. So the Clippers unprotected. And then like a Clippers unprotected. I mean, might be worth keeping one of those. And let's say our unprotected in 2030. So Trey Murphy, Mikal Brown. And they agree. So that was pretty easy. We get Evan Mobley, which feels great. So Evan Mobley, welcome to Philadelphia to pair him with Maxey, which is fantastic. I love that. Maybe I should have given up a little bit more. That felt like too easy. I thought they would like counter me, but they didn't at all. So what did I give? I gave Trey Murphy, who's a great player, but we know he didn't develop in 2K. Mikal Brown, who just got drafted in the top 10. And then Royce O'Neal, which was just whatever. I'm going to throw them one more first. I think that, bridges the gap a little bit because that I felt like I didn't give them enough. So I'm going to go give them one more first. And I think that I'd feel a little bit better about that. So just give me a second. You can have one more first. I think that makes it just to feel a little bit more fair. So that's done. All right. So just like that, Maxey, Evan Mobley. And then to me, it's all about how the rest of the roster progresses is kind of how we'll build the roster out. So Maxey, Jared McCain, Herb Jones, which I like at starting shooting guard still. Will Riley, who will be backup. GG Jackson, Ricky Council. We'll have to resign Ricky Council, of course. Caleb Wilson, I have no idea how much he'll develop. And then we have Brandon Clark, Rocky, and Dembona. So a lot going on at the center position. But let's just go straight to player options and let's see what happens. So we got all these guys accepting. Well, that's fine. That's fine. Nothing in free agency for us. And then we have Ricky Council. Herb Jones is a free agent, which I do want to bring him back. Brent Clark is also a free agent, which I'm not bringing back. And then Ricky Council, I'm going to resign as well. Okay, so Herb Jones, Ricky Council, and Gigi Jackson is also a free agent, but I hope he's restricted, because if he's not, that's kind of tragic. So let's see. He is not. Can we sign him? Okay, that is totally not correct. I don't even know why 2K is glitching like that. He's totally a player that was under his rookie contract. So that literally doesn't even make a lick of sense, even unless if I renounced him on accident, but I don't believe I did. I don't even think you gave me the option to make him restricted. Is he even listed as restricted? No, which is totally incorrect, like I said. So wherever he goes, I'm putting him back on this team, because I was definitely going to pay him. He has 3 offers, and we'll see if anybody, if he secures. Hopefully he signs with someone, because if he doesn't, it's going to be really hard to sign him. Yeah, we can't sign him back, so quite annoying, not going to lie to you, but he is getting an offer from the Mavericks that he's interested in, so I'm assuming he might sign it eventually. Any better offers for him? He's only going to get a 1-year deal from anybody, which, again, kind of sucks. But yeah, I'm going to get Gigi Jackson back on this roster, and then I want to see how much player progression goes up. So let's see what player progression looks like. So we got McCain up to an 85 and Caleb Wilson up to an 83. Okay, Rocky's only up to an 81, so honestly, I don't mind moving Evan Mobley to the 5. I think that's fine with me. So Evan Mobley can play center for us. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. And then we'll have Gigi Jackson back on his roster as well, assuming he signs somewhere, which I'll get that figured out. But let's go ahead and get into, I think this is year number 4 at this point. I don't know if we'll go win a championship this year, but I hope we at least make the playoffs. All right, so now that I have Gigi Jackson back on the roster, honestly, I don't even remember if I showed the player stats from last year. So we had 23 for Maxey. Evan Mobley obviously didn't play for us. McCain averaged 15.5. Caleb Wilson averaged 10. Herb Jones was 6. Gigi Jackson was 17.5. Rocky with 11. Did I show this last year? I genuinely do not remember. My apologies if I didn't, but we look at it now. So Maxey, Herb Jones, Gigi Jackson, Caleb Wilson, and Evan Mobley. Honestly, I genuinely think this team low-key could make the playoffs. I don't know why. I just have a gut feeling that could happen. We're going to put Ricky Council in over at Dembona. I don't know why I was even experimenting with moving him to small forward. I don't think that would have made any sense, but I don't want to play Ricky Council here because we need a 3 more than a 5-man off the bench. Though, we're going to go ahead, simulate year number 4, and we'll see if we can have some magic brewing here in Philadelphia after everything we have done up to this point. So at the end of year number 4, just like that, the special season happens. Things really clicked this season, which I'm not surprised because, as we all know, when you're younger in 2K, it just goes better. So we don't get any awards or anything, but here's your All-NBA first team. I would love to see Maxey on one of these teams, but unfortunately that will not be the case. That would have been awesome to see, but not going to happen for us. We do get Caleb Wilson making all-defensive second team, so that's cool to see at least. All-rookie first team and all-rookie second team. But we ended up as the first seed in the Eastern Conference. Yes, first seed. We won 58 games on the season, which is pretty incredible. Taking a look at the player stats, let's see how that's looking. Again, I can't remember if I showed this last year, but we're definitely going to remember this year. So 21 from Maxey, 18 from Mobley, 17 from Gigi Jackson, 14 from Caleb Wilson, 13 from McCain, who's developed to an 86 overall, by the way, which is just fun. Will Riley up to 12, Rocky up to 11 and 7 off the bench, 5 from Herb Jones, and 5 from Ricky Council. So all of that is incredible. Now I get Orlando in round 1, who obviously, Cooper Flagg alongside Franz, Paulo, Wendell Carter, and Suggs. I don't know, man. I just have a weird feeling that this team is not gonna, well, I don't know. For whatever reason, whenever I have Franz Wagner, it doesn't seem to work. But maybe that, obviously with Cooper Flagg, that could cancel it out. I have no idea. But let's simulate current round against Orlando, and let's see if Orlando is going to give us some problems, and they are. So, little nervous here because, obviously running into Cooper Flagg in round 1 is not what I had in mind. And getting bounced in round 1 as the first seed feels disgusting, not going to lie. But that's exactly what's going to happen to us. And we lose in 5 games to Orlando. So, I mean, they made it all the way to the finals from the play-in. So what can I do, I guess? They do lose to the Spurs. Damn. Yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow, not going to lie. But swallow it we must. That's what she said. Well, let's go ahead and, I guess, run it back. I don't know. I mean, I think we're only about to get better. Like, Jeremy McCain's up to an 86. Caleb Wilson's going to develop even more. So I shouldn't be panicked too much. We also have the 6th pick from the Suns from that Caleb Martin trade, I think. So that's incredible. We can draft Caleb Gaskins here, which we'll absolutely do. That's going to give us maybe a better backup small forward than Obviously, Ricky Council, not by much, but it's still definitely that case. But we'll resign all these guys back, and then qualifying offers McCain, which we absolutely want to bring him back. I mean, he's been great off the bench. Adem and Zignaji, I'm fine with moving on from. McCain is getting a bag from us. But I think we're in our window of going to try to win a championship next year. We got the first seed this last year, and I'm assuming player progression is about to look really good this time around with Caleb Wilson at least. Hopefully, our other guys too. So Wilson's up to an 87, McCain's 88, 85 Will Riley, 84 Herb Jones still, 84 G Jackson, 83 Rocky. So yeah, no matter what, I'm going to this season feeling pretty confident, and I feel like a championship is within reach. I think we go this season, and then if it doesn't happen this season, we go one more season after that, and we call it a video after that. So hopefully within these next 2 years, we get close to winning a championship, and we bring it home to Philadelphia. So once again, another incredible season, and I do feel like this could be our chance to get it done this year. No NBA first team for Maxey still. I mean, the scoring is kind of spread, so that shouldn't, it's not too surprising. But Evan Mobley makes all defense first team, and we did have Caleb Wilson make it last year, but not this time around. We're once again the first seed, and we almost won. Yeah, we won 67 games, so it's been pretty incredible what we've done so far. But let's see if this turns into a championship. That's ultimately the goal, of course. So hopefully we don't lose in round 1 this time. So Orlando is not there to upset us. We get Miami in round 1, an actual 8th seed, but they actually look pretty decent as well. So we do still have our work cut out for us here. But Will Riley, I guess, is going to start. I mean, I feel like we should beat Miami pretty easily, and we do. So we take care of them. And now we get Brooklyn, who has Kyrie, Boogie, Ace Bailey, Tyron Stokes, Claxton. A good team in Brooklyn, so let's take them seriously. But we do go up 1-0, 2-0 so far, 2-1. Can we go up 3-1? Yes, and we beat them hopefully in 6. Let's avoid a game 7 at all costs. Now we do have to go to Brooklyn and win on the road to do just that, but we can maybe do it. It is close, but it looks like they're starting to run away with it. So we are going to go to a game 7. So game 7. And look who awaits us if we're able to get it done in game 7. We're back home for this game 7. Will that matter is the question. I guess we'll find out. We have the lead right now. They take it. Can we take it back? We might go home here. We are going to go home again. So 124 to 117. Unfortunately for us, we don't get back. But we get to the second round this time. So we take, I guess, another step in the right direction. As I said, next year, final season, no matter what, we'll run it one more year. So let's get to the lottery. I don't even know if we have a pick here from anybody. We might, but up to this point, I don't know if anybody's going to truly help. We're kind of with the roster we got, and the good thing is the draft pick we got last year is going to, be even better this year. So our whole rotation should be like damn good, like scary good. So that gives us the ultimate edge, I feel like, over the competition. I don't know if we have any free agents. Maybe Max is a free agent, which he is, but obviously we're going to re-sign both these guys and go in one more year, all in, and that's it. So let's go to play progression. This is the final roster that we've been rocking with, and I think our whole rotation is going to be like probably an 83 overall and above, if I had to guess, which makes us very scary. So not quite. It'll be 82 overall and above. So Caleb Wilson up to a 90. Will Riley's up to a 90. We have 4 90s, almost 5 90s. Absolutely insane. So that being said, final season coming up. Hopefully, we're bringing a championship to Philly. So here we are with this final chance to get a championship in Philadelphia. We once again find ourselves as the first seed, 64 wins on the season, and here are your end of the season stats. So 19 from Mobley, 18, 17, and 17. So as you can see, there's a lot of scoring on this roster. We shall see if it ends up in a championship. We draw Detroit in round 1, which, I mean, at this point, every roster is probably damn good. But let's see if we can beat Detroit in round 1, and we will beat them in 6. Okay, so now we draw Chicago, who has Philip Bethea, Jet Howard, Jeremy Sohan, Chris, Carter Knox, and Patrick Williams. All right. Hoping for a conference finals appearance for the first time, and I don't know how long for Philadelphia. And we are going to be up 3-2, and we push them and beat them in 6. Okay, now we get Cooper Flagg and the Magic, who obviously they have Xavier Tillman as their center, and Franz Wagner and Jalen Suggs are coming off their bench. So this is going to be a tough matchup, but here goes nothing. Game 1 goes to us, beat them by 7. Game 2, So far, so good. Game 3, they are going to even it up, aren't they? Nope, 3-1. And beat them in 6. Yes, we do. Okay, we're in the finals. So just like that, we go from the conference finals to the finals. And now we draw the Warriors to end things off. So it's Caden Boozer, Cameron Holmes, Dalton Connect, Kamenga, Clowney, Jarris Walker, Jimsky. I don't know how to say that name, but MPJ and Luther. All right. Game 1 goes to us. Beat them by 22. Game 2. Game 3 goes to them, and they even the series. Okay, so I was like, okay, are we about to go sweep the Warriors? No, it's an even series, and now we got a massive Game 5 ahead of us right now. We do have the lead at the moment, and we are going to secure this Game 5 victory. Now, do we beat them in 6 to end the video with the championship? Moment of truth, fingers crossed, and yes, we do. So just like that, we get a championship in Philadelphia with Will Riley winning Finals MVP. What a beautiful way to end the video, man. Insane roster we just built, and I feel like we did it in a very realistic sense as well. So that, honestly, this video felt great to do. I really needed this because I was kind of cruising, man. I'm not going to lie. Last few videos, I don't feel like I've been putting my best effort in. And a lot of it, like I said, just been stressful. I've been moving, as you guys know. I'm dealing with cleaning out the old house and doing a bunch of stuff there. It's been hectic. So I'm glad I got this video. I'm very happy with how this video went. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it as much as I did making it. But this is it. This is Crushables. I'm saying peace. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you click here to watch another video that I know you'll love.